Hi there, how are you? And welcome to the introduction lecture for my course on calisthenics. The working out without using gym equipment or weights and just using your natural body weight using natural exercises and natural movements. This is extremely popular. It's used by a lot of the top athletes. It's used by a lot of the health junkies. And generally, it's very good because you don't need a gym or you don't need any equipment. So if you get this course, obviously you will save thousands of dollars on gym memberships and gym equipment over time, because you can get really strong just with doing this. And a lot of people who spend their lives in sports and athletics and in different training, they really vouch for the effectiveness of calisthenics. It's a very old practice. Obviously, before there were gyms, before anything, people were doing this. It's very effective. And in this course, this is the large course on calisthenics, and we're going to cover everything. I got together with my personal trainer, and we created a course for you. His name is Joey Zanka. We created a course for you, showing you how to get strong abs, strong arms, strong chest, back, legs, your whole body. So, and you can do this exercise from your home, in the park, even in your office, right? You just need a little bit of space. These are not crazy exercises. And if you speed up these exercises, we also show you how to make it a routine. And if you speed up, it can be more aerobic. If you slow down, you can really focus on getting more of the weight training. So that way you can get aerobic exercises, you can get more like muscle building, and all for free, right? Just using your body weight, no equipment, no gym, nothing like that. So go ahead and sign up for the course, and we'll see you on the inside. And by the way, if you're wondering, like, should you get the course? Every course comes on Udemy comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if there's something you don't like about the course, or you feel like you didn't get your money's worth, there's a no questions asked return policy, so you can just get your money back and there's no problem. So go ahead and hopefully sign up for the course, and I'll see you on the inside. So no course is perfect on Udemy. Mine are included. As you watch this course, keep in mind, if there's something I could be doing better, if there's some lecture that's missing, if there's some question you have, please send me a message. You can send me a private message on Udemy. You can post a course discussion. I see all the discussions and I reply to all the discussions, and I'll be happy to hear from you. And I just want to show you how to actually do those two things, so that if you ever have a question or have some doubt or feel that something is missing, let me know. Because there's this famous quote by Cezanne, the famous painter. The artist is in the picture. I mean, you're part of the course. Right? You're not just a student, you're a part of the course, and I want you to participate in making the course better, for the next students. And, also sometimes it will be interesting for me, maybe what I missed, because I won't know what I missed until you tell me. And then I'll be able to change the course or add more lectures or make it better or fix something. So please, if you see anything that can be better about the course, I'm always working on improving the course. Certainly feel very welcome to be proactive. I love criticism and I love feedback, and don't worry, you won't hurt my feelings. So I look forward to hearing from you. So before we get into the course and before we get into sculpting any of our muscles, I really want to make this distinction that the exercises themselves will make you stronger, give you more control over your own body, make you possibly more fit, give you get better at sports. But if you want the sculpting of your muscles to happen, you have to have a certain body fat, right? So, like for example, a six-pack is it's something that typically starts to be seen in people who have about 13 to 14% body weight. And as you go down in six-pack in your body weight, it becomes more and more defined. Before that, no matter how much you flex or how strong your abs are, it's going to be hard to see. That's for men. That's a percentage for men. I'm not sure the percentage for women, but this is just sort of the idea, is that you have to keep decreasing your body fat. And you decrease your body fat by two ways. a lot of cardio exercise and weight and muscle training exercise. So you want to build muscle, and you want to have the muscle to be there to be seen. But even more important than that, what you want to happen is you want to decrease your body fat percentage so that your muscles, they can get more defined and have that really lean, beautiful look, right? Because the way it works in the body is you have the muscle layer, but over it is the fat layer, right? So the more fat you have, it prevents your muscle definition to be seen. So, and the fat is usually decreased by proper diet, because often what happens is people exercise like crazy. I'm one of them. But then they have a hard time keeping up the right diet. I'm also one of those people. It's been hard for me. But generally, it's with that combination. And the diet is probably more important, because guess what? You can run a mile, and that's only about approximately like 100 or so calories, maybe 120, maybe even 150, who cares? But a bag of chips, it's like already more than that, right? You have a sandwich, it's like maybe 200 or 300 calories. You have a piece of ice cream, it's like 200 or 300 calories. You have a piece of chocolate, it's like 200 calories. You have a dinner, it's like over 1,000 calories. Big dinner, or even a medium-sized dinner can be over 1,000 calories, depending on what it is. So it's much easier to eat than it is to burn it off. Plus, you don't want to exercise too much, because you're just going to injure yourself, and then you won't be able to exercise regularly. What you want to do is focus a lot on your diet, because the diet will ultimately help you get that beautiful definition that you're after. Whereas the exercises themselves will just keep you fit, and it will keep your heart, but it will help you. It will get you stronger. It will get those muscles to be stronger. But that definition of the muscles has to come both from the exercises and proper eating and decreasing the body fat percentage that you have.
Okay, guys. So a lot of questions I get all the time is, how do I stretch right? When should I stretch? Is it right to stretch before a workout, after a workout? You get all these different questions. And the honest answer is, it's better to do it both. You want to stretch before and after a workout. The difference is you never want to stretch cold muscles. So there's pre-warm-ups that you could do. A lot of times before I sweat or before I stretch, I like to get maybe a little sweat going. And for those of you who can't jump rope, that's fine. I usually start with the jump rope. Before I do anything, I just start nice and easy skipping rope. Okay, and that's great. If you can do that, you want to do it for about 2-3 minutes. You just want to start feeling your body warm, because you don't ever really want to stretch cold muscles. And one of the main things I focus on before I'm stretching muscles is I'm working on my joints. So there are also joint stretches that I do. Not as much stresses as they are loosening up the joints. And we'll go through a small part of that, and then we'll go through the after workout stretches that I like to do as well, just to kind of stretch all the muscles. So first thing, like I said, if I can, I like to warm up first all the time. So I'll do jump rope. If I don't have a jump rope, I'll start by just certain things, twisting my hips. I'll start moving around a little bit, side to side, just kind of working my hands. Maybe, again, if I'm doing my boxing thing, I might start with a little bit of shadow boxing. Just all types of movement to just start kind of getting myself loosened up a little bit, to start getting my muscles activated, to start getting my blood flowing. I want that because I don't want to just come in and start stretching, stretching cold muscles right off the bat. And, things might get tight. It doesn't go as far as you might want it to stretch. So that's the perfect way to do it. Is you just start by loosening up a little bit. Like I said, you can start bouncing on your toes. If you have a jump rope, even better. You just jump rope for a little bit. You start loosening up. But let's say we don't have that stuff, and let's just say, I want to start with my joint stretches. So it's not so much stretching as it is loosening up. One of the main things, you have your shoulder joints, elbow, wrist, knees, ankles, hip joints, all that stuff. So what I'm going to start is I'm going to take you through a warm-up that I would do in the morning, like when I was going through training camps and stuff like that. Before I had, anything to eat or anything to drink, when I'd wake up, I just wanted to loosen up my joints a little bit. One of my favorite things to do. So we'll go the progression. I start with the upper body and I work my way down. Or some of the other guys that I trained, they would start with their lower body, work their way up. But that's fine. This is stuff we would do in the morning before we even train. So again, trying to loosen up. I'm just kind of slightly bouncing on my toe. One of the main things that I would start as I'm bouncing around, I start by loosening up my neck a little bit. And I'm just kind of rotating it around. Slowly, I go in circles, slowly to one side, And I'd go about 10 times in one way, and then I'd start bringing it around 10 times the other. I'm not pulling on any of the muscles. I'm just kind of loosening the joint up. These are more joint stretches, or joint loosenings, as I like to call them. Then I'd start bringing it side to side a little bit, try to get my ear to my shoulder. And then I'd start shaking my head, no, side to side, to loosen up the joint. And then you start shaking your head, yes. Go back to no, and the ear to my shoulder is my favorite one. Next thing is we're going down, I'm going to start loosening up my shoulders. So it is, you can start with small circles, you just start loosening them. Small circles going forward, small circles going back. You can cross them over and under just to start loosening up a little bit. And you keep loosening them up that way. The next one we're going to go to is our elbows. Again, like I said, for the sake of time, we're doing it a little quicker. You do it on your own time. You can do 10, 20, you can do seconds if you want to just do everything for 20 seconds, however you want, however you need to feel loose. It's up to you. Next thing we go to is the elbows. So I like to rotate my elbows a little bit. Just loosen them up, side to side. I'm rotating them out, then I twist and I rotate them in. Going both ways, side to side. It's all rotation of the joints. Next thing I do, obviously, is the wrist. So I like to interlace my fingers and I roll out my hands. I go one way, so loosening those wrists up, then I bring it back, the other way, side to side. And again, the whole time, if I want, I could be bouncing on my toes a little bit while I'm doing this, going back and forth. I could do one arm at a time, then the other arm. The options are up to you, but these are the basic joint stretches. Next thing I'm going to start doing is not so much a joint, but it's just loosening up under the rib cage. I try to just kind of move my rib cage side to side. Start moving that rib cage side to side, left to right. Then I'm going to bring it forward and back. Now, if you notice, only the rib cage is moving. I'm not moving my hips. My stomach might be moving a little bit, but I'm not moving my hips. And the same thing, I might start making circles with it, right at underneath the rib cage. Circles one way, and then circles back the other way. And then the next place I'm going to go, obviously, are my hips. You can do the same thing. I can circle the hips nice and wide, and I can circle them the other way. I go left to right, moving the hips, just loosen them up, forward and back. And at one point I plant my feet, I'll start loosening up the lower back. Now again, it's loosening up the spine, but remember there are muscles in the lower back too, so don't go too far, you just want to loosen up. Next thing I'm going to start working is the hip joint for the leg. So I'll start, let's just say I start one leg at a time with the right leg, I bring the knee up, I circle it open, knee up, circle it open, knee up, circle it open, just to start loosening it. And then I bring it back the other direction, 5, 10, 20 times, however many times it takes you to warm up. And you do the other leg, knee up, circle open, knee up, circle close. Next one I'm going to start moving to is my knees, right? Knees are a very good point. So what I like to do is I bend my knees, place both my hands on my knees, and I'm going to circle my knees out. So one side, start loosening it, and I circle it back to the other side, side to side, rotate. And then last but not least, I go for the ankle. Again, if you're holding something, that's fine. I'm going to place my heel up. I'm just going to roll out the ankle. And I roll it one way, and then after a couple times, I roll it back the other way. And I'll do the same thing with my left ankle. Roll it out one way, and I roll it out the other way. And those are the joint stretches. So now your joints should start feeling pretty loose. Again, like I said, if you're only doing, 1 to 5, you might not be that loose. So you do it for a little bit. In between, you can move around, you can bounce on the toes, you start warming up. If at a point you start feeling a little bit of a sweat going on, stuff like that, that's great. Then you can start working the muscle stretches in there. And there's all different types of muscle stretches to do. I mean, depending on what really works for you. Again, starting, I'm going to just go from working from the upper body to the lower body. But let's say muscles are warmed up now, or either post-workout or we're warmed up for pre-workout. You understand? You can do these both, but it's better. I like the muscle stretches for post-workout. So what I do, let's start with the neck. Now I'm going to kind of pull my head down to one side, feel the muscles in my neck start stretching. I want to get my ear down to the side, and then I'm going to pull it down to the other side. Again, you typically want to hold each stretch for about 10 seconds or more. I'm doing it for the sake of the video, going a little bit quicker. Then I'll bring both hands, I'll lock them behind the head, I'll bring my chin down to my chest. I might push it up there too. Maybe like I'm praying, push it up. Next thing I start doing is the shoulders. I'm gonna bring my left arm behind my head, stretch it out. I'm pulling on it. I'm not putting on more pressure. I don't want to cause pain, but you want to feel the stretch. If you start feeling pain, loosen it up. And then you switch to the right. You can pull the arm across the chest. And again, you'll switch it the other way. Sometimes when I have to stretch my wrist out, I just hold it down. I keep the hand loose. I'm going to hold that, and I'm going to push down. I almost want to get my fingers to my hands. Again, not as far as you can. And I go from there, and I'll bring it back the other way, as far back as I can go, pulling on my fingers. Again, my wrists are kind of tight. Some people are more flexible than others. I've seen people pull their middle fingers to their forearms, which is great. But you go as much as you can until you feel the stretch. You don't want to feel any pain with it. Do it on both sides. You can start stretching out the elbow a little bit. I place my hand underneath my elbow and just kind of push at the joint as I pull it down. And then the same thing, sort of hamstring muscle stretches. I walk my legs down. Again, if you can't touch your toes, that's fine. Other thing that I want to start doing is I want to focus really on my breathing. You're supposed to be relaxed while you're stretching. Focus on your breathing, and every time you exhale, you want to stretch just a little bit deeper in your stretch. And you'll notice, again, the more you do it, the better you get it. Nothing too extreme. If you feel pain, stop, bring it back a little bit, but it should loosen yourself up. Those are for the hamstrings. Next one I like to do is for my quads, so I'll bring my heel to my butt. I'll pull my foot up. Right to left. And, you know, if your back gets a little tight, which mine does, my lower back in particular, a lot of times I like to sit on a couple different stretches. I'll do one where I'm sitting on my back and I'm going to keep one leg straight. I pull the other leg over. It's important. You can keep the knee bent. If you can keep it straight out, great. It's important to keep both shoulders on the mat. And you lay here again. Each time you exhale, stretch a little deeper into it. And then you switch and go to the other side. Both shoulders stay on the mat. I can do the same, similar stretch by sitting up on my butt. I step the leg over, I twist myself to the other side. And again, just focusing on your breathing. Every time you exhale, you push a little deeper into the stretch. And then when we're done with that side, I stretch to the other side. Now again, there's a lot of stretches you can do. So if there's any particular area that you want more stretches on, please feel free to comment, and we'll post some videos of more stretches for you. But for the most part, where your tenderness is, that's where you want to stretch out. You have these are basic areas that get sore after the workouts we did. That's why we stretch them out. But there's always different exercises to kind of stretch different parts of your body out. So first thing we're going to start with, very, very simple that we have, are the squats. Okay, squats. Very good workout for your glutes and for your hamstrings, even for the quads. And what we want to focus on when we're doing it, we want to always make sure that our back is straight and that we're not leaning forward. A lot of people, when they do their squats, they lean forward. Not the right way to do it. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to keep our feet about shoulder width apart. We're going to keep our knees over our feet. We don't want them above our ankles. We don't want them coming over our toes. That's never a good thing. We always want the back straight. We want to rest the butt down as low as we can. So basic squat form, very simple. As we're coming down, the butt comes down, the knees, notice my knees are not over my toes, they're not bending over my toes, my back is straight. Come down and up. Come down as low as I can and up. Again, I'm here facing the camera way, coming down, butt goes back and up. Down and up. Now, that's a basic squat. You could add weight to this. There's a lot of things you could do with this. Add your weight to it. One of my favorite progressions into it, just without any weight, it's very good for sports training and explosive movements, is the squat jump. So as you go down, you pop up. Come down with it and up. Come down with it and up. Same motion. And you're really giving yourself that explosive lift off. As you're pushing off, back up, you're exploding up. Come down and up. Activating all the muscles in the legs. One of the best things you could do. Again, if we want to care to make it a little bit more difficult for ourselves, there's always always weights that we could add to it, depending on what weight you want to do. So, again, you can do it with one weight, you can do it with 2 dumbbells down to your side. Same thing, you're keeping it shoulder width apart, and you're coming down and up. Again, you can still add the squat jumps to it as you come down, hop up with it, down, hop up with it. And again, if the weight is too light for you, you get a heavier weight to it. There's all ways to just kind of make it that much harder for yourself. Again, the one squats seem a little too easy, you could start switching it up a little bit. Instead of going for regular squats, we could start doing wider leg squats. So squatting more, focusing on one side. We can step it wide to one side and really squat it out. Focusing primarily, obviously if we're stepping to the left, focusing primarily on the left glute and hamstring. If we step it right, we're focusing primarily on the right glute and hamstring. So it would be a side to side type of thing. Again, same thing, we lean as far as we can. We're leaning on that side. My knee's still not coming over my toes. And once that gets a little too easy, I add weights to it, add progressions to it. One of my favorite things to do is lunges. Also for the quads. Very, very good for your quads, very good for your hamstrings, very good for your glutes. And those are done really frequently. Same thing as the lunge. When I'm doing as the squat, when I'm doing the lunge, I want to make sure that I'm not leaning over my toe. That's never a good idea. My knee should never cross over my toes. I always want my knee over my ankle. So, proper squat form is I'm stepping back. I'm on my toes. My knee doesn't hit the ground. I'm staying straight with it. My body is straight. My back is straight. I'm working the leg. Right now, my right quad is so activated that I'm feeling it pull just from this squat position, just from holding it. And again, it's the same thing when you're doing squats. You can just sit and hold for about 10 seconds. Come up. Start adding time holds to it. Do the same thing for the squats. I can step back, squat. So I can start off by just doing one side at a time. I step back, I lunge. Step back, I lunge. Step back, I lunge. Then we'll do the other side. Step back and lunge. You hold it a little bit to feel the burn in the quad, you lunge. When you start getting a little better at it, you want to start hitting alternating lunges, you can add a little jump again into it for explosive motion and to give you that extra little oomph at the end. So, as we're doing our alternating jumping lunges, we step back, one side, and then we just switch from there. Same thing. Keep the feet nice and even, the knees not coming above over the toes, my back is straight the whole time, I'm coming down, my knee's not touching the ground. It gets low, but it doesn't touch. We'll hit the alternating lunge. We can, however, get the core involved too while we're doing this. As I'm doing the lunge, I'm going to twist my upper body now over my lower body. I'm going to switch side to side, side to side. I twist. Again, going through a progression. That's the easier version. Once I get a little bit better, I grab a weight or I grab a kettlebell, whatever I want to do, whatever I have available to me. Nothing too heavy. Again, you start at your own weight. If you have a light kettlebell, you take whatever you have. We're going to start by holding the kettlebell over our lead leg side, then we're going to switch side to side, twisting that body. Now we're working the upper body and the lower body. When that gets a little too easy, we can do single leg lunge chops. Single leg lunge chops is great for working one side. But remember, if you're working one side, you always want to work both. So, starting by holding my right leg back, I'm in my single leg lunge chop. So just hop up and down, up and down, up and down. After you go through a set of those, however many you can do, 7, 10, you can do 20, great, but make sure you even it out on the other side. Switch to the other leg, step it back, same thing. Single leg lunge chops. And when that starts getting too easy for you as well, you add weights to it. Weight can always help. You don't want to go too heavy. You don't want something that's going to kill you, but you want something that's going to help give you that explosiveness. Because if you could jump, just like in sports, when batters are getting ready to swing the bat with to hit, they have the donut, the weight on the bat. It makes the bat much heavier. As soon as they take that donut off, swing through much faster. It's the same thing. You're adding weight to kind of make yourself trigger a little bit faster. That's how we increase our speed. That's how we increase our explosiveness. That's how we increase our muscle. We can also start adding things together. Squats and lunges go together. I like to do it a lot. I'll start out with a squat, I'll switch it, lunge, I'll come back to squat, then the other side. Lunge, squat, lunge, squat, lunge, squat, side to side. We keep working stuff like that. As you progress, as your knees get a little stronger, as your quads get a little stronger, as your hamstrings get a little stronger, we work all this stuff for our squat, where we can start squatting it wide, and jumping in and squat narrow. Squat it wide, squat it narrow. Wide, narrow. These are all things that we work, that we progress on. These are all things that are going to start making your legs really feel it. Again, at any point, if this is too easy, body weight will still be working your legs out, especially if you're going from sitting behind a desk all day to getting up and doing this work. You don't need to start with any weight. Your own body weight will be enough for you. You'll feel it without a doubt the next day. But when you do this frequently enough and you want a little more, you want to go a little faster, you want to go a little harder, that's when you can start adding weights to it. And that's when I suggest going from beginner to intermediate to advanced. That's how we work. Heavier weight you can deal with, the heavier weight is fine. So the main reason we would never want our knees going over our toes is because that creates an instability. And now we're not working as much. We're taking more of the pressure in our knees than we are in our legs. From here, the proper way the squat's supposed to be, it's supposed to work the glute and the hamstring muscle. So I'm supposed to sit back right over it, keeping my knees straight. So now I'm taking the pressure off my knees. All the pressure and the weight is going into my glutes and into my hamstrings. When I'm leaning forward too much, so I'm pushing my knees over my toes, I'm putting the weight into my knees, and that's not good for your knee joints. You always want to protect your joints at all costs, so you make sure that when you're doing it, proper technique is always important. The best way to do it is to start in a mirror. Go slow. You don't need to speed things up. You go nice and slow to make sure your technique's right first. Once your technique is right, you can always start speeding things up after that. Now, squats being really good for your legs. For people who do have knee problems, however, of course, obviously we have to modify it for all skill levels. I had knee problems. I tore my ACL when I was training, so it happens. Okay, and you have to learn to train your body for it. So you always want to modify it as best as you can. The best way to modify the squat is obviously to just start by not going as low as you can, because you still have to build up that strength in your legs again. If you just coming off a knee problem and you try to go down as much as you can, as fast as you can, you're going to start hurting your knees. So again, we can start by just finding a stable door or something to hold on to. Let's just say a door frame. We hold it so our upper body takes some of the weight. We're going to start going down slowly. You go as far as you can. You don't push it past it. If you feel any pain, you come back up. Go down as far as you can. You can hold it for a few seconds. If you start feeling any pain in the knees, you come back up. And that's how we start. After a while, you can start doing it without holding on to anything. You can just come down nice and low as you can. So if you can only come down to here, then that's all you come down to. You don't want to go down any lower. Same thing for the lunge. Again, lunge attacks the knees a little more because it's forcing the knee into a completely bent position. But we don't want to go too far on that either. You go as far as you can, and you bring it back. You could even do alternating stepping lunge. Come as far as you can, and you bring it back. There should be no reason for you to push more than you need to. If you feel pain in anything, not muscle soreness. Pain and muscle soreness are two different things. If you're feeling pain in any of this, you need to stop right away, because you don't want to push it and then hurt yourself. Then you can't work out for a longer time.
All right, so what we have here is really good for athletes. In almost every sport, I've used this to train. It's for footwork. I've used it in my boxing, my baseball, football, soccer, basketball, everything you can possibly think of. It works for footwork. It teaches you how to move your feet quickly and efficiently. Very good for increasing agility, speed, and just overall footwork. So, main thing, there's many different exercises we can do from there. But the main thing we want to start doing is being able to get one foot in, one foot out, or not crossing off our feet. So, main way we're going to use it here, there's a couple different exercises. What I like to do is I like to run through it and get each foot inside, nice and quick. I'm picking up my knees, coming through. Right? That's one of the first exercises to start getting used to your footwork. Is to get each foot in, each foot out, without stepping on the bars, without crossing your feet up. It's one in, one out, one in, one out, one in, one out, one in, one out, one in, one out. Okay, you're on your toes the whole time. You're working your heels. You're keeping your heels off the mat, getting those calf muscles, getting quick reaction time. That's one of the best. Other ones that you can do is start switching your feet up one at a time from the side, going laterally. Step one foot in and switch. One foot in and switch. One in, one out. 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 It's another one. When you get to the end, we just go back the opposite way. One in, one out. So we're getting both sides laterally, side to side. Getting used to that quick footwork. Quick footwork. There are other things we use a lot for making cuts, especially in certain sports, basketball, boxing, football. You always want to get those quick cuts side to side, so we work that too. We can start by going in, both feet out. Coming from a lateral standpoint, you come 1, 2, side to side. 2 in, 2 out, 2 in, 2 out, 2 in, 2 out, 2 in, 2 out. And then you come back the other way. Go 2 in, 2 out. So you get used to doing it on both sides. 2 in, 2 out, 2 in, 2 out, 2 in, 2 out. So again, you start off slow, you build up. As you get better, you start moving through quick. These athletes are able to cut through this as fast as they possibly can now because they've done it so many times. And they're so used to in game situations, in fight situations, in any of those sports, not crossing their feet up. They know where their feet are at all time. It gives them a little bit more of a little more practice and a little more awareness of where their feet positioning should be. So here's what we're going to do to work the calf muscles. A lot of people want to work the calf muscles again. Calf is not a hard muscle to work. The main thing that works is you can see my calf muscle is planted. As soon as I go up on my tippy toes, it starts stressing that calf muscle out. So a lot of things we do are we do leg lifts. And you can take, just say the easiest one to do, you get a couple dumbbells, whatever weight you want to go with. All right, I'm going to take the 220-pound weights for now. I hold them in each hand. And all I'm going to do from here is I'm on my feet. I'm going to raise my toes up. I hold for about 3 seconds and I come back down. I don't let my heels touch the ground again now. I'm going to lift up and lower. Or the heels don't touch the ground. Lift up and lower. Lift up and lower. Just like that. Those are called calf raises. They work the calf muscle. Again, if I want to add a little more explosiveness into it, I stay on my toes and I'm just hopping now off the toes. I'm hopping. Again, my heels are not touching the mat, forcing my calf muscles to really work. I'm just going to hop in this position. You do this anywhere, any amount of time, 30 seconds to a minute. If this gets too easy, I'm going to hold 2 weights in my hand while I do it. Add a little more weight on it, is working the calf muscles a little more. Other things we could do is we could find a ledge where our heels could really stress going down. And if you have to start off with a wall, that's fine. But you raise up on the toes and you come down as low as you can. Raise up on the toes and you come down as low as you can. Raise up on the toes, come down as low as you can. Trying to hold your balance. Now that's an off-balance surface. Usually you'd look for a straight ledge or something like that. But those are all different things. Again, anytime you can, you add some weight to it. If you feel like you could go heavier, you go heavier. You don't want to go too heavy. You don't want to go crazy. But something that's going to make those calf muscles work. All right, guys. So one of the main things to increase speed and takeoff is your hamstrings. Right? Hamstrings. If you look at any great running back in the NFL, they all have these huge hamstrings because it picks up acceleration very quickly, and that's one of the things we want to work on. Now, everything that we did, or the lunges, the squats, those are going to start working your hamstrings. There are a couple other things we can work on to do it. Again, if you get to a gym that's got the equipment for hamstring curls, that's always great. But you might not be able to do that. So one of the greatest things to do is have one of the exercise balls. Very simple. As we lay on our back, we're going to hit that hamstring curl. So we lay on it, our back, we're flat on our back, our heels are on the floor. And as we pull it into our butt, we're going to pull it in, the butt comes up, then we extend it all out. We pull it in, the butt comes out, we extend it all up. Pull it in, the butt comes out, extend it out. Just like that. That's how we're going to start working those hamstrings. After a while, then they start to burn, you'll feel it. Other things we can do, just hip lifts. Very simple. We're here, we plant both our feet on the floor, we're going to lift the hips up and down. The pelvic thrust. Also force your hamstrings to work. Again, to get the calves involved too, is you can start lifting up on your tippy toes and come down. Lift up on your tippy toes, come down. Lift up on your tippy toes and come down. Alright guys, so we're going to start covering our abs now. Abs is the main frame of your body. I feel like if your core is strong, the rest of your body is going to be strong as well. You know, your balance, your inner strength, everything comes from the center of your body, which is your core. Your stability, all that stuff is coming from your core. So we want to make sure that we have strong cores. Now, can we do 1,000 sit-ups or 1,000 crunches and get our abs strong? Sure we can, but A, it gets boring, B, it gets repetitive, C, your body gets used to it, it's not going to work the same way it does. So we want to try to find ways to really work our abs. And most of the ways we're going to do are just modifying our basic sit-ups a bit without needing any equipment or anything like that. Again, if we always want to go from beginner to advanced, we get a little stronger, there's certain things we can do without even equipment. Longer holds, higher rep count, faster rep count, stuff like that. We're gonna work some basic stuff today for the abs to really get your core strong. And we're gonna make it go into a few positions also for the lower back. We want to this all works together, core and the lower back. Let's get started. So basic sit-ups, basic crunches.
something that most people who went to public school in a normal PE program had to do for gym every day. And you would see the gym teachers don't really care. It's just part of the curriculum, so they're not really correcting too many people or showing them the proper technique, which is unfortunate because a crunch is a great workout for your ab, especially if you do it the right way. So, the way we do it, again, it might be hard, it might put some stress on your back to come all the way up. So you can always start by placing your feet underneath something with a little bit of tension so that it'll use your body to come up. But let's say we can't do a full sit-up, we just start with the crunches. We're going to start right there. I like to fold the hands across my chest. What happens is most people, they start getting tired and then they just start pulling on their neck, and it's not really good. We don't want to put too much pressure on our neck joint, nothing like that. So what I do is I put the hands across the chest. The first one is just the basic crunch. I'm coming up, crunching the abs, and I'm coming down. I don't have to come too high up. I come up as much as I can without putting too much pressure on my lower back. Back down. Forcing, you can already see my core is working. It's bending in as I'm coming up. Again, I go as far as I can and I can. That's your standard crunch. Your standard sit-up is now sitting all the way up. So your feet stay planted. And again, some people have trouble with this, and that's completely understandable. They might not be able to get themselves up. They might need momentum. So you start off slow. You start coming up farther and farther from the crunch. Or like I said, you could have someone hold your feet if you have a workout partner. That's always great. Or you place your feet under something like anything that can give you a little bit of resistance coming up. So as I'm sitting up now, I'm going to do a full sit-up. Again, I keep my knees there, and what I like to do, again, not putting my hands behind my back, at the back of my head, because I don't want to force the pull. But I keep them here because I want to bring my elbows up to my knees, essentially. If I can place them on top of my knees, that's the best. So as I come up, elbows on the knee, back down. Elbows on the knee, back down. Elbows on the knee, back down. And you start coming up as much as you can, as far as you can, as quick as you can. And that's your basic crunch and your basic sit-up.
Main thing when we're working the core is we're flat on our back. We want to make sure that we don't have it on our back. For any of those of you who have arcs in your back, a weaker lower back and the core is that strong, it means when you're trying to hold a straight position like this, your back is actually pushing up on the floor and you're feeling pain. So for anybody like that who needs the modification, you can place both hands underneath your back or your butt to make it a little bit easier to push your back down. Those of you with the stronger core is we're going to round that back out. We want the back touching the floor so that I can't connect my hands through. I want to keep my core strong. It's always constantly keeping my abs working. My shoulders are off the mat. My feet are straight out. This is the perfect way to just start strengthening that core. This is a good way to see how strong you are. If you can't hold it up that far, hold your legs up a little bit and start lowering them slowly. Just to test where your abs are. When you start feeling your back lift up, that's when you know you have a problem. Best thing to do is just like I said, if you can hold them out perfectly straight here, heels off the mat, and you can't fit your hands underneath your back, then your core is strong. So, a couple exercises we're going to do from here. All right, for those of you who can't do, who don't want to do the modern sitting, it gets a little bored. We're going to do a knees to elbow crunch, one of my favorites. So, as we're in this position, I bring my knees to my elbow, I crunch, and I extend it away. So now I'm forcing my lower and my upper abs to work. Knees to the elbow, crunch, extend away. Knees to the elbow, extend away. Knees to the elbow, extend away. That's one of the best workouts for the whole core as a whole.
Now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to get into the V-ups. V-ups is a very, very common exercise move, but it's also very hard. So you see people start modifying them, you see people start messing them up because it works the core line. The best way to do it, again, you're keeping everything straight out, your legs are together, your shoulders are off the mat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sit up. I'm not letting my knees bend. I'm reaching for both toes with my hands. If I can't reach, that's fine. If you can only come up to here, that's fine. You build up. But eventually what you want to do is you want to be able to all the way up, touch your toes, extend it away. Come all the way up, touch your toes, extend it away. All the way up, touch your toes, extend away. And as I'm extending away, my shoulders are not hitting the mat again, nor my heels. Come up and away. Up and away. When that gets a little bit, easier, we can focus mainly on one side. There are two ways to do it. Starting it a little bit easier, single leg V-ups. I can keep my knee bent. Say I'm going to start with my right leg. I keep my left knee bent, it's still off the ground, and I'm going to reach across. My left hand is going to touch my right foot. Left hand touches the right foot. The right knee stays straight, hand comes up, touches, and it extends all the way. Now, when I'm going together, when that gets a little bit too easy for me, because that's an easier one,
Now I'm going to hold both legs straight out. The heel stays off the mat, only the right leg is coming up. So it's forcing my left side to hold my leg up while my right side is working, coming across, touching the hand and extending all the way. And again, we're going to do that on both sides. We're not going to do one side. Anything you do on one side, you're going to do on the other. Another great exercise for the abs, a lot of people do, a very common one, is the bicycle. The bicycle is also great because it's involving the whole core, the upper and the lower abs, even getting the obliques in there with the twist. We're going to bring the elbow to the knee, the other leg's fully extended, side to side. The whole time you're keeping your shoulders off the mat. You don't want to fall flat on your back and sit here. It is working the lower abs, but now your middle core is no longer involved. So just keep the shoulders off the mat, the elbow touches the knee, other leg fully extended. Side to side, rotate. Make sure that elbow touches the knee to get the twist in there. That's another great exercise that we can do. There's so many different ab workouts where you can start getting into it. It's legless as well. There's one of my personal favorites is to work the obliques. It's the side beam snap, where you pick one side. Okay, both legs stay straight out. You're flat on your arm. Your hips are there. Hands behind the head. Now it's very important. I see a lot of people, they bring the knees in, right? Because that's obviously the easier way to do it. And you can start by doing that. I'm not saying it's not working the core, but we want to work on those V cuts right down there. So the best way to do that is keeping the legs straight, heels off the ground. The knee is going to come up to the elbow. Keep it straight. Bring both knees up to the elbow. Lower it, but the feet don't touch the ground yet. Up and lower. Up, lower. Up, lower. Up and lower. Obviously, once you do enough, you turn to your other side. We're going to work the other side as well, getting both sides of the in. So be the same situation. We're laying on the left hip now. Both legs stay straight. Knees come up to the elbow, touch and extend away. Again, you start off with your own reps. If you can only do 10 on those, do 10 on one side, 10 on the other. As you get a little better, you can start doing higher rep count, or you can even do it by time, just working. A lot of times, I'll do it for about 45, 50 seconds. You don't know how many reps you can do 20, 30, 40 in that time, or you just push for it, just to constantly keep those abs working. So one way to really work the core too, while we're holding our legs straight out, holding that position, is the flutter kick. So simple. A lot of people I see when they start this is they're kicking from their knees. They're kicking like this. Now that's not really working the core at all. That's not what you want. Again, the same position that we're in, where we're really forcing the core to work. Both legs are straight, shoulders off the mat. Now the kick is coming from my hip and from my core. Coming up and down, pointing the toes. My shoulders stay off the mat. Here, it's not working as much. Now I'm creating an angle on my core that's forcing it to work. It's also forcing my back to round off, which is really working on the abs. And right from there, we're just going to do our flutter kicks, up and down, up and down, up and down. You do it for time, you do as many as you can. All right? Next one we can do that's also very great. Again, it's very important to keep the knees straight when we're doing these. Next one that I like to do is also the scissor kick, just using the lower body. So, again, my shoulders are off the mat, my legs are straight, knees are straight. Coming under and over, under and over, under and over. You could go wide, you could go narrow. Nice and quick, or you could go big and wide. Again, shoulders off the mat. Here, it's a little bit easier. There's less stress on my core. Whereas here, I'm putting a lot more work into my core because it's forcing my core at this angle. So those are two things. And you can go between them. Do 10 flutter kicks, 10 scissor kicks. 10 flutter kicks, 10 scissor kicks. And you just work between them on those two. That right there, you do that for about a minute, you're going to feel those abs for sure. When you start getting a little more advanced, you can start stringing them all together. So, like I showed you before, holding those legs straight out for the core. This is making your glutes, forcing your core to work right now. So what I like to do a lot is I like to string them together by doing sets. So let's say I'm going to do my knees to elbows crunch. I'm going to sit up, I'm going to do my 10, a set of 10. For the sake of the video, I'm only going to do 5 here. And then I'm going to hold both legs straight out for about 5 to 10 seconds, just holding it, forcing my core to work. As soon as I'm done with that 5 to 10 second rep, I'm going to go into my biceps. Elbow to knee, other leg fully extended. Again, I might do it for about 5 to 10 seconds. I might do it for a rep count. And I'm going to hold 5 to 10 seconds again. As I'm holding here, my next one might be my V-ups. I'm going to come up, both hands touch both feet, and I'm going to hold. And you're going to try to go through a cycle of that without letting your heels touch the mat. Obviously, by the end, your core will start really feeling the burn, and your feet are going to just want to drop. It's going to be a natural thing. But the more you do it, the stronger you get it. The better it's going to be for you. Now, there's plenty of other ways to work and stabilize the lower back and the core as well. One of the main things is the plank position. So the plank position is great for it. Just holding a plank position is already stabilizing the core and the lower back, really making you work. So, a lot of people do it wrong though. Again, it could cause a back problem if you're not doing it the proper way. So, first thing we're going to do is we go down on our ankles, down on our elbows. You want your elbows to be underneath your shoulder blades. You want your feet together. It makes it a little harder. You can start out with your feet wide if you need to, but when you start getting your feet together, it makes it a little more difficult. It's very important that my back stays straight. Now, if you have lower back problems, you can start by raising your hips slightly. You don't want to have it all the way up here. That's not working too much for you. That's putting more pressure on the arms. You want to be able to keep the back as straight as possible. What you don't want is you don't want your back dipping down like this. This is putting so much stress on that lower back. Anybody who has lower back problems is going to hurt. You want to keep it as strong as possible, core tight as you can. Now, just holding this plank for an amount of time, that's going to start working your core. It's going to make this stability.
One of my favorites is the obliques, is the Spider-Mans, because those also target the obliques. What I'm going for here is I'm picking my leg up, and I'm trying to bring my knee to my tricep. And I kick it back. I'll do it to the other side. Knee to the tricep, kick it back. Knee to the tricep, kick it back. Knee to the tricep, kick it back. Again, I might do 10 of those, then I'm going to hold the plank again. Just hold it. Then I might bring the knee to the opposite tricep, coming across the core. Pulling it through, knee to the opposite tricep, come back. Knee to the opposite tricep, come back. Knee to the opposite tricep, come back. Again, holding that plank position, keeping my back straight, core tight. Now there's a couple reps that I could do. Same thing, just stringing them together to really focus. If you need to take a break in between, that's fine as well too. You do as much as you can. You want to start slow. You might only be able to hold a plank when you start for about 10 seconds. By the time you do it enough, you might be able to hold it for 10 minutes. You know, it might not be very fun just holding a plank for 10 minutes, but put on TV, you forget all about it. So these are certain ways you can just keep working on that core strength, which initially will transfer to the whole body, and you just start getting that real man strength that everybody looks for.
One of the good things for the abs and the lower back to do are the Supermans. Supermans are exactly what they sound like. It's kind of like you're flying like Superman. So what you're going to do is you're laying flat on your stomach. Both your hands are straight out, both your legs are straight out. When you start your set, you don't want to rest at any point by resting your hands or your feet on the mat. So when you start, you want to hold it up the whole time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start by lifting my legs up, both arms are straight out, and I'm going to tense it up and then back down. Tense it up, down. Tense it up, down. Up, down. And again, I might do my set of 10 without my hands ever touching the floor. I want to make it a little more challenging on myself after the 10th one. What I do is I hold it straight out and I hold it up as high as I can. I squeeze everything tight, I hold it up, squeeze, keep trying to lift a little more, and then I slowly release it. And those will be great for your lower back, start strengthening without any kind of weight. You don't want to use too much weight for your lower back. I think you don't want to use any weight. Natural body weight's the best for your lower back. And again, it's also working in front of your stomach as well. You're getting your core and your back.
Alright guys, so now we're going to go over how to really work out the arms and the chest, the upper body. You want to work all that stuff up, of course, just because overall your body, your physique is strong from the whole body. You want to be able to work every muscle. Basic things without any equipment that I like to do is doing our push-ups, okay? Push-ups, great workout for your chest, great workout for your arms, really good workout for your triceps too if you're doing it properly. What we don't want to work on too much is wide elbow push-ups. I see this all the time in the gym. So we're going to start by getting on our basic push-up position. Now remember, if you're a beginner and you're not used to doing push-ups, it could be kind of a problem. So it's okay. We're going to start by on our knees right there, and we'll get used to the position from on our knees. We can do the knee push-ups. But for those of us that are a little bit better at push-ups, we start going with the regular push-ups. Our feet are together, our feet are a little about shoulder width apart. And then obviously when we get more advanced, we can put them on a platform, keeping our legs raised so that we're coming down more on our chest. Right. Proper positioning for the arms is also very important. And I'm going to roll my sleeves again so you can exactly see which muscles are working in the arms as we do it. Now it's always working your chest, but the way people do it, I see a lot of times at gym, is they're wide and their hands are out wider, they're in front of their shoulders, and they're coming down like this. High butt push-ups, they're not really working much of the arms, they're bending the elbows out. That's wrong. That's not the proper way to do a push-up. It's not good if you kids end up hurting your rotator cuffs or your shoulders as you're coming down with all that weight on you. So the proper way to do the push-up is you always want to make sure that both hands are directly underneath your shoulders, right? So I start by lining up, both my hands are underneath my shoulders, And as I come down, I don't let my elbows fold out. I let them fold against my body, forcing my triceps to work, forcing my biceps to work. My chest is down low to the floor. My feet, again, they're about shoulder width apart. My butt is not all the way up. It's straight. My back is straight. I'm going to hold it down, and I come up. I push it down, I push it up. I come down, I push up. So you want to get it to about where your chest almost touches the floor. Right above the floor, and up. Above the floor, and up. That's the proper way to start doing it. That'll start working on the inside of your chest while it's also working on the inside of your arms. While it's also working on your arms. So like I said, I see a lot of people, they start with their elbows out wide. Not proper. If you have trouble keeping both feet together while you're doing them, you can start, like I said, from your knees. And it's the same way. You're still focusing on it. Get your shoulders above your hands, your shoulders above your hands. Come down. Elbows fold against the body, arms fold against the body, back up. Down, up, down, up. There's no reason that your arms should be opening up. Your arms should not open up that way. That's not good for your arm, for your biceps, or your triceps. You want to work every muscle that you can, so keep your body in close, rub them up against your body. Ways we can go into a little more advanced push-ups to really work like the center of the chest now, and the upper chest are diamond push-ups. So people do this all the time. Your hands come and they meet in the middle of the diamond. Again, it's right underneath your chest. I'm coming down. I'm still letting my arms bend against my body. I'm not opening them up, and I come up. I come down, I come up. I come down, I come up. My elbows are not opening up. I don't want them opening up wide. That's not the proper push-up technique. I want to let my arms fold as close to my body as I possibly can. From there, there's certain techniques. Say you can't do as many push-ups as you can't really work the arms. There's ways to just start by holding the push-up position. So let's say you're tired of doing it from your knees, you want to start progressing a little more. We're going to do something where we go down from plank back up to push-up position. So you just start by holding the push-up position. Again, shoulders underneath the, hands underneath the shoulders. I'm holding it, my feet are about shoulder width apart. And what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to come down to plank position, back up to push-up. Down to plank, up to push-up. Down to plank, up to push-up. Now you do that about 10 to 20 times, you're going to start feeling it in your arms. Might not be the hardest thing to do, but it's going to start building you up. And then from there, you start adding push-ups. Again, if you can do push-ups already, and you just care to make it a little bit harder on yourself, just from going down there, you can come down to plank, back up to push-up, push-up. And you come down, back up, 2 push-ups. 1, 2. Down to plank, up to push-up, 3 push-ups. And so on and so forth. You do as many as you can do. Again, you're constantly working your arms, you're working your chest with it, you're keeping your core tight while you're doing it. Always kind of conscious about having a tight core, because like I said in the ab section, the core is the main frame of the whole body, so you always want to be aware of your core. Alright, so another way we can start kind of working the core in with our shoulders and our upper body that we like to work a lot is by doing mountain climbers. You know, mountain climbers is a great activity to get the core going. It's a great activity to get the heart rate up. Really good workout overall. So, proper way to do it, we're holding the push-up position in the same way that we usually would. So we're going to hold our hands directly underneath our shoulder blades. Again, our feet about shoulder width apart and the back is straight. It's not a proper push-up position. This is if anything in yoga they call this a downward dog. And we're not doing yoga right now, we're starting to strengthen our body. So you want to keep the back straight. Again, you don't want to be dipped down either in this weird position. You want to keep your back as straight as possible, almost symmetrical in the line. So as we have our hands underneath our shoulder, what we're going to do is you're bringing one leg in as the other leg strays back, and we switch it. Nice and quick. You can keep the head up, looking forward. We're going to start running our knees right through. Now, I see it all the time. When people start getting tired, they start dragging all the way back here. It's not the proper way to do a mountain climber. That's not really helping anything. You always want to make sure, if you get tired, take a break, reset. Proper technique is more important than just moving for the sake of moving. So, hands underneath the shoulders, back straight, shoulder blades back, and we're going to bring the knees right through the middle. Make sure you're staying on your toes. Don't let your heel touch the mat. If you care to make them a little more advanced, there's certain ways that we can start adding the chest into it too. By doing about five mountain climbers, adding a push-up, or even better to really work the core too, is we can twist the twist. When regular mountain climbers get a little bit too easy for you, you can start twisting to also get the obliques involved as well. So as you're hitting your mountain climbers, you're twisting your hips through side to side, almost bringing the knee across the stomach to the opposite arm, side to side. You're turning those hips, working the core, working the arms, twisting those legs through side to side. Now, if we want to make it a little bit harder and we want to work the chest too, we can do our mountain climbers and add push-ups in between. Great, great workout. So, as I start, let's say I do, I pick a number, let's just say it's 5. I'm going to do 5 mountain climbers. Now one leg, left leg, right leg, that's 1. So it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So as I'm holding it, it's going to be here. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a push-up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a push-up. So on and so forth. I'm going to add as many of those as I can. That way I'm getting my core involved in it, my core, my chest, my arms, everything's involved in it, giving me a total body workout, or a total upper body workout, I should say. So, a lot of you might not want to not have this in your building, or you might not have it where you live, you might not have the right equipment that you need for it, but most of your cities, a lot of your local parks, they put together these almost outside gyms where they have bars, they have pull-up bars, they have dip bars, they have all types of different, almost different equipment. They have all types of bars that you could work on in your city, and it's really great to get to those gyms, or to get outside. You know, it's paid for by taxpayer money, so you may as well go, right, and enjoy the gym that they built for you. But there's a lot of great workouts you can do there, and some of the strongest, most fit people you see only do those bars, especially out here in New York City. We have so many guys that are working out on these bars, and these guys are in incredible shape, incredibly strong, and it's a fantastic workout. It's only body weight exercises, but you know, it takes an amazing amount of strength and balance and energy, and it's a fantastic workout. So you should definitely give yourself a shot, get to those bars, and try it out. All right, so let's say you can't make it out to your neighborhood gym. You just want to do your workout at your home. That's fine. That's perfect. What you can do is you can use a chair, something that elevates a little bit, and we can still practice our dips on that. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit with our legs straight out. You fold your hands over here. Legs stay straight out. You're going to lower your butt as low as it can go. Back up. Come down as low as you can. Back up. Down as low as you can. Back up. Working the triceps the whole time. Coming down and back up. You don't want to go too far where you fall, but you go far enough where you can really feel that strain on your arms. What we have here is a simulation. I like to call them the dip bars. You might see them in your neighborhood park. They're just 2 long bars together. But what we have here is our regular bars. The dips, great workout for your upper body and for your tricep, like your chest, your triceps, your bicep. So very similar to as I was doing the push-ups. What I'm going to start by doing is I start by holding I start by holding the dip position. So when I come up on the dip, my legs are up. I like to cross them, hold them behind myself, and as I come down, again, you start off going as low as you can. If you can come all the way down, that's great. But I'm going to bring my elbows behind my back, and I push my arms back up. I come down as low as I can, come back up. Dip is great for the whole body. It really works the tricep, really works the core. Come down as low as I can, and back up. So, dips are really good for working your arms out. And again, we can get everything involved, especially taking the balance and taking the strength. You'll start seeing straight leg dips, which also starts really activating the core. You're working the chest, you're working the arms. And if you watch any of these guys at the bars in the park, they do this all the time. So one of my favorite ones to do is you hold your legs straight out, come down as low as you can, and back up. Come down as low as you can, back up. So if you're at home, you want to take your push-up game to a little bit harder. You start doing elevated push-ups now, which is one of my favorites. So you just take a chair, whatever you have to give you a little bit of elevation. We're going to put our feet up on it. Again, the feet can stay a little closer together depending on it. What we're going to do is we come down, chest down to the floor, back up. Bring the chest down to the floor, back up. Chest down to the floor, back up. That's going to really start forcing your chest. It's going to get the upper chest to really start working. You've got to go up with a little bit of more height. It's putting more weight down towards your upper body, where your lower body is being elevated by a platform. Whatever that platform may be, like I said, if you have a chair at home, that's great. You can work that. You can work with that. Whatever you can find to give you a little bit of height to get that pressure down on your arms. That'll be great. Now, for guys who can, you may not be able to start with pull-ups right away. I get that. That's fine. You have to, everybody's got to build up somewhere. They have to start somewhere. Another great thing, if you have a parallel bar somewhere that you could use, you could start with the inverted rows. Those start working the back muscles out. So what I'm going to do is I come underneath. I'm in this, I'm in almost like an inverted push-up type thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull myself up to the bar and back down. My legs really help me a lot here. When I keep the knees bent, it makes my legs help me a lot more. If I care to make it a little harder, I can hold both my legs straight out and then pull up as high as I can, back down. Up as high as I can, back down. Up and back down. And that's a way to start progressing into your pull-up. When you start getting strong with that and feeling your back muscles come up, then you can start moving on to the higher bar. So, great workout. One of the best, at least in my opinion, and I know the opinions of other great fitness, say fitness gurus, is the pull-ups. Right, pull-ups, a great overall body workout, really well for upper body especially. Works the core, works the back, works the arms, works everything. It's such a great workout, and I think everybody should incorporate it into their workouts. But it is actually very hard, which is why it takes all these different muscles to get you going. And not everybody can do a pull-up right off the way. There are ways to progress it. Now, a pull-up over the hand grip, right? That's the important thing. You can change the grip a little bit depending on the wider the grip, the more the back involved. The narrower the grip, the more the arms are involved. Okay, so there's ways to also switch that. Then we got is the pull-up, which is the underhand grip. And that is a lot more bicep work. It's also great for the lats as well, but it also works the biceps a lot too, whereas this is less bicep, more lat, more back, more core. So, proper way to pull up or chin up. We're going to show both today. So, again, I find my grip, the best way to start is always you want to be even with your shoulders. I always think shoulder width is the best way to start. So I find my grip again. If you need to step up, that's fine. This is a little higher. If you could jump up to it, that's okay. I might need to jump up to this one, but I start with my hands shoulder width apart. And as I hang, I like to keep my legs bent behind my back. My elbows are a little bit bent. I'm going to bring myself up to the chest. I bring my chest up to the bar and then release. I don't go all the way down. I don't want to lock my elbows out all the way. We come up again to the chest and back down. Chest, back down. Chest, back down. Chest, back down. And you do as many as you can. If you could do 3, that's great. What you want to do though, to kind of keep working at it, if you can only do 3, try to hang for a little longer. Pull yourself up. Again, you don't want to let the elbows lock. That's putting pressure on your joints. If I let my elbows lock all the way out and then I reset from here again, I'm putting too much pressure on my joints. I don't want that. I want to keep the muscles activated the whole time too. So I don't go all the way to lockout. I go where there's a slight bend in it and I pull myself back up. The next one we're going to do are the pull-ups. They're a little bit easier than the chin-ups because it's more arms involved than it is the back. So, again, wide-handed grip. You don't go too wide. Same thing, we go shoulder width apart. Gonna come up to it, and from here, again, the legs come back. You pull yourself up. I like to come chest to the bar and back down. Chest to the bar, back down. Chest to the bar, back down. Now what you see is you start seeing a lot of guys struggling, and they're trying to pull themselves up. They're putting a lot of extra pressure on them. Don't need to. You go as far as you can. If I'm here and I'm pulling up, struggling to get up, I'm putting more pressure than I need on myself. Pull yourself up to where you can, and back down. Up to where you can, and then back down. But the main part is you're trying to get your chest to touch the bar. I want to bring that bar right into my chest and lower myself back down.
So earlier in the course, I strongly urged you to, if you see anything wrong with the course, if you don't like something, if you still have questions, to message me, because I really want to help you and I want to make the course better. I genuinely do. And maybe I haven't heard from you. If I haven't, is the course perfect? If so, maybe it would be great. If you do like the course, it would be really helpful to me, and it would be great if you could just take a minute or two and leave a nice review to the course, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. But again, if there's something I'm not doing right, if you feel like the course is not a 4 or 5 star course, tell me. I won't know until you tell me, and once you tell me, I can make that change, because the course is something that can always be updated with new lectures, maybe updated lectures, things like that. So let me know if you love the course, I'd love for you to tell the world about it and, leave a nice review, because that would help me spread the word about the course a little bit. And if you find that there's something not quite right with the course, message me directly. Let's have a conversation about it. Let's get to the nitty-gritty of what can be made best about the course and what can be improved. And then I'll actually do it, because I love it when people tell me what's not so good about the course, because then I can actually improve that piece, which is fantastic for everybody, for me, for the next students. So now I'll just kind of show you how to just leave a review if you want to do that, or how to message me if you don't like something about the course or have questions. So now I'll just show you how to add a review to any course that you're taking. And this is actually a list of courses that I'm taking on Udemy. And I'm an instructor, but as you can see, I'm an avid course taker on Udemy. I love taking courses. I actually take as many as 1 to 2 courses per week on all kinds of topics. And here is a course on Master Your Brain, Neuroscience. A kind of a cool course actually that I really liked. And I'm just going to leave a nice review because I really did enjoy this course. So click the right review and then give it a very nice 5 stars. And I'm going to say I learned a lot. Thank you for creating the course. It was eye-opening. And it really was. And I'm just going to add the review, and that's it. And here's, if you want to message the instructor, and in this case, the instructor is Gregory, but if you're taking my course, to message privately, all you do is just click the instructor's name, and then you can send them a message right here, and that will be a private message. And if you want to actually maybe you can also post a discussion in the course. And it will be right here. Hello. I'm not going to post this, but essentially if you wanted to post a discussion, this will be a discussion that the instructor would see as well as all the students, and that will be a public discussion. So you can either that was kind of how to leave a review, how to ask a private question to the instructor, and how to post a public course discussion. So that's really how you do these things. So now you know. So thank you for completing the calisthenics course now. I hope now you are really strong. Just kidding, but I do hope that you're getting a lot of benefit from it and are continuing to do these exercises every day. If you have any questions, please message us. Message me or message Joey through Udemy, and we're going to respond to you right away. Hopefully, we always respond within 24 hours approximately, at least. Often, I mean, faster. And if you have any questions, we'll be happy to add more lectures on specific things. Maybe, we gave quite a bit of information in this course, but there's always more, right? So if you have any questions, just email us. We're always happy to hear from people who take the course, and of course, we hope you enjoyed the course. So anyway, thank you for taking the course. If you have any questions, you know what to do.